Welcome back to another episode of Be Our Guest here on Musical Theater Radio. I am your host, as always, Jean-Paul Yovanov. I love catching up with former guests to see what they've been up to. And we haven't talked to our guests since September of 2020. That's almost a year and a half. Too long. I have to say too long. So let's jump right in and find out what's going on with the talented, charismatic friend of the station, David Serero. David, hello.
My sweet Jean-Paul, how are you? That's so
I'm
sweet of you for your introduction. Can you believe since September 2020?
I know. It feels like forever,
Wow.
but it doesn't feel like any time has passed. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, I listen to your radio all the time,
Thank
so I listen to your stuff. Thank you for playing some of my recordings. I really, really appreciate that, so thank you, really, thank you. And just the fact that they play on your radio, it made them all worth it,
You are way too kind. You are way too kind.
I'm so grateful to you. Thank you, my dear Jean-Paul.
You're welcome. So some of our guests might not have heard the first interview. So let's get a 15-second bio. So who is David in 15 seconds?
Well, I will say I'm a passionate man, very hard worker. I love to work. I'm an opera singer. I'm a producer. I'm a director. I just love building new projects, whether it's documentary films, whether it's doing a new musical, whether it's writing a book, whether it's doing a new album. I just work with the flow and whatever comes to me, and I seize it and I go for it.
Perfect. And that's what we need. People like yourself who just grab it and go. And so speaking of new musicals, but it isn't a new musical, but you've got coming up. So tell us a little bit about what you've got coming up in May of 2022.
Well, first of all, I have yourself coming to New York, which is an event on its own.
I'm going to try for sure.
No, you're very sweet, but yeah, it's really for me more than a musical. For me, it's really a dream come true. It's for me one of the greatest musical of all time, especially for where I'm from, from France. It's called The Ten Commandments. It's such an amazing musical, which the music was written by, I would say, France's most successful composer by far, Pascal Obispo. Amazing original French lyrics by Lionel Florence and Patrice Guiraud, and based on a book by Elie Chouraki, which of course is based on the story of the Ten Commandments. But and yeah, with the best performers, the best idea, and also at that time they showed something that was really amazing to bring people together, and there was not really a musical, especially in France, that brought that. And it was always a musical that fascinated me. And I said to Elie Chouraki, I told him, one day I will bring that one to America, and because I first approached him like 20 years ago when the musical was coming out. It's been 20 years. And of course, it was an era, and I'm bringing it now on an American version, so which I would love to tell you so much about it, and it's so exciting. Really, it's really a dream come true, this musical. Yeah,
that's congratulations on
thank you,
because I first heard this musical at least 10 years ago, and I just randomly came across it. To be honest, didn't understand any words. Well, a few words, because I speak enough French to understand a few words, but not enough to understand the whole concept. But so tell us a little bit about the Ten Commandments.
Even in French, I don't understand also.
So we know the story of the Ten Commandments, obviously. Well, maybe not everybody, actually. Not everybody's going to know the story of Ten Commandments. So tell us about the musical and the synopsis of the show.
Well, it tells the story of Moses, who his mother, who puts Moses in a basket and then lands into Pharaoh's mother, the new Pharaoh's mother, and then Moses grows up as the brother of Ramesses, and he doesn't know that he's Jewish. And one day he has this accident, and he realized that he is Jewish. And when I say accident, I fast forward a lot, but and then he goes and he's condemned to exile, and he he meets a woman, and he meets God, and God gives him the mission to go back to Egypt and to free his people out of Egypt. And he goes back, and you have the 10 plagues of Egypt. And then Ramesses, his own brother, his adopted brother, um, is like, okay, I'm gonna let the Jews, the Hebrews go, and then after he arrives and a miracle happens, the sea opens, he's able to escape, and then he received the 10 commandments. I mean, I'm really, really fast forwarding it, but um, and that's the genius of that musical, is that the composer, the writers, they made it very, I would say, emotional about the relationships, almost more than the story, in a way. Because, for example, the first musical number is actually one of the songs which I released already, a single called I Choose to Abandon, where you have the mother of Moses, Jochebed, or Yochebed, it depends how you want to say it, who puts her child into this basket, which, by the way, we call it a Moses basket in this era. It comes from that. She puts it in a Moses basket, and she sings, I choose to abandon. And then you have this duet with the Egyptian mother, who sees and she dreams of giving birth again, etc. So it comes to that, and at the end, the will of love, l'envie d'aimer, this very famous song. I think it's one of the most famous songs ever in France, and you understand why when you listen to it. The performance of Daniel Levy and all the performers of that original musical was just mind blowing, and all of it, when this Hebrew slave sings the maximum pain, La Peine Maximum, which I released also as a single, you feel, what's in him, and that he wants to be free, and he has this dream, and all of it. That was really the genius of these people, that you don't have to basically to be Jewish to really appreciate that music. And the composer Pascal Obispo is such a person, is really a god to me. He really is. And the original writers also, because they understood how musicals were done at that time. Because at that time in France, you had Notre Dame de Paris, and you had the 10 Commandments, which they both arrived kind of at the same time. That was it. You had Romeo and Juliet also, but after, you had tons of musical. You have Starmania, which back in the days, but that was really, really the only thing. So they really, really understood how to bring this new era. Of course, now we are in 2022, and I'm in New York, and I'm in the capital, the world capital of musicals, with all that respect. And there is a new, I call it a vocal literature and a vocal style of singing this repertoire, which back then they sang it more on the pop style than on the lyrical style, more on the Broadway legit style. So I want to really bring it as a Broadway musical. So the first work that I did was to commission Elisha Raki to write dialogues, to write a libretto, which he wrote it in French, which when I adapted it in English, I had to change a lot of things. And also in the original production that they did, they had like 49 dancers. 49, it was huge.
Wow.
Forget about it. 49, I have to save money for my green card, so I cannot pay 49 dancers. So I had to readapt it and squeeze it. And the show was like 2 hours something with intermission. So I had to bring it down, and also to make it a little bit less wordy, so that there was more lines for the singers. And also what was very important was to detach the show, to detach, I would say, the music piece from the show itself. You know,
Yeah.
so that was very important. And then to make a new show with that piece, so that any theater in the world or in America or in English speaking countries, they can project themselves
Yeah.
in doing it. Because before, as I said, 49 dancers, it was, you needed a stadium, you needed really the stage, and that's where they did it. They didn't do it in theaters, they did it in stuff that would be New York, Madison Square Garden. You know, they did it that kind of venues. You know, so it was a 3,000, 5,000 seats. You know, so it needed to be readapted. It needed also to be readjusted in terms of the tempo. You know, we are in the TikTok era, we are in the Snap era, so things need to go a little bit faster right there, a little bit punchy. But when you live in New York, you become like this naturally, I can assure you. When you're in Starbucks, you're waiting more than 1 minute, you're like, it's taking forever, you know. What's going on? It's the worst experience, you know, when people say they waited 1 minute, the worst experience, you know. And and no, so that was basically, and also the challenge of finding the right cast who will have also who could really create these new characters, but yet have strong tradition of the Broadway musical theater, but also have that youth to bring something fresh also to the musical. So for me, when you have a masterpiece, and that musical for me is a masterpiece, it's different components. So if you remove one component, you don't have the masterpiece, which led, by the way, to another musical called also The Ten Commandments, which we can talk about. And which took place in LA in 2006, but it has nothing to do with the music of Pascal Obispo. And so it was also for me not to remove the component of the interpreters, you know, of the performance. And this is why I met with Daniel Levi, who is, to me, one of the greatest singer of all time, because he brought also a touch to that Moses character that was almost impossible to perform after him. Like, he put such a thing on that character that no matter who sings it, it would never be as good as him. So it was important to sit with him and to get his color, to get, you know, we worked for 3 hours. I sang all the Moses part in English. I just barely finished to work on the adaptation. And we were working, and he told me, no, here you should do that note. Oh, that note was not written. I didn't do it every night, but sometimes I did that note. And a lot of people forget to do that note, but I think it's that. I mean, we even filmed that, so I will have the video for you. But I put a little excerpt on YouTube. But it was very important for me to have it and to create independent characters like Moses, Ramesses, etc., that could be would have a personality, of course, but also that any singers in the future can project themselves into it. You know, because if you do a musical and people like, oh, only he can do it, or he can only be done like this, then that musical is hard to get a future.
For sure. So when did this project start, and how long have you been working on it to get to this point where we're going to have a production in a month and a bit, to a couple of months?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's funny because yesterday, you know, I was ordering on Amazon, you know, the toddlers, the babies, the dolls.
Yeah.
You know, because at the beginning the musical opens when the woman, she gives away her child and to save him, but also Egyptian are killing all the firstborns. You know, because the story is that one Egyptian priest saw a prophecy that there would be one Hebrew male who will deliver the Hebrew people, you know. So the Pharaoh said, oh, you know what, we should kill then all the firstborns, the male firstborn. So for sure that won't happen. So in a way, you know, they saw it right, the priest. So I was on the internet ordering and going to the store looking like which toddler is the best and holding it, does it look fake? It has to be heavy still. It cannot be too light because they're going to see. So I have all the people looking at me like, what is he doing with all the toddlers, holding them, and then the skin color, because you don't want it too white, you have to find something in the middle. So so I had people looking at me like, and then I get delivered, and the neighbors can gonna start to think, what is he trying to do with these 10 dolls that he has? So no, Jean-Paul, it really started actually in February 2020. I'm the producer of the New York Sephardic Film Festival in New York, which, by the way, is opening first week of April. And I invited Eli Shoraki, the guy who did the book and the original staging, and to give him an award. And we had a dinner, and I told him, look, I really want to bring the 10 Commandments. He told me it's very complicated, it's very difficult. You need to have 40 dancers on stage. You need to do that. It has to be like that. You need to have these costumes and that and that. So it went on like that. And then I said, you know what? Then COVID happened. And then I was really pushing to do new recordings. I recorded more cast albums, more new plays, more audiobooks, more Audible does, actually I have partnership with them, like plays, but for the radio drama. That was what I wanted to say. And so I did all of that, and I was very happy. And actually that had Scarface, which you kindly had me for it. And at that time, we thought we were going to do it. I remember in like November 2021. Back then, it would already be gone, the COVID. And look where we are. Yeah. And then I reached out to Pascal Obispo directly, to the editors, and I said, look. So I tried to reach out to them, but I couldn't get the phone number of the editions, because even when I called. All the dramatists, publishers, and all of that, they said, no, there's no authorization, because no one has ever thought of doing it in English and in the US, so, we don't know who you should call, So I was like, you know what, after trying to reach the people for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, which for me is like 2 years, I was like, you know what, I'm going to start to produce the album. I'm going to start to produce the instrumentals. I'm going to start to do the casting. I'm going to start to do the adaptation, and I'm going to start to record it. And maybe someone will answer to these emails someday, So I hired the singers. We rehearsed. We did the recordings, which actually I recorded almost the whole album, but I'm, releasing it step by step. And also I have the new cast now for the show. So the show has moved a lot, so I might re-record new stuff. So anyway, we did that, and then finally I got in touch with the publishers and with Pascal Obispo's team, and then people were like, okay, we are open to it. But really, what paid off was all the investment that I did, which sometimes, it just, as we talk sometimes, is just go for it. And I took the chance to really record it, to really make it really nice. I told them it's demo, but there were not so much demo that I thought. They were a little bit more advanced than that, but I played it, downgraded everything. And I said it, and I said, look, these are demos. This is how I think it should sound. This is how the style, the era, the new fresh blood, the new, because there were, rhythmic parts that were in synthesizers that were really early 2000s, So I did something new, at the tempo a little bit faster, the reverb also on the voices, the chorus also very, very different. The mastering also, I made it more popish, like to be more spreaded. So all of that, and that really really, really paid off. So it took, I started, to work on it. I think it was in September 2020. And I started to record the first thing. I think it was in October 2021. And I think I sent demos. I think it was in this February, March 2021, And so we had a lot of talks, a lot of negotiation, but if I recall well, that was in August 2021 that I got the full okay, from the authors, which to me was really a blessing because they never did that, they never done that, and from what I heard, Pascal Obispo didn't want to have it that much exported, and not ever from what this is what I heard.
Yeah,
but I'm so blessed that he was excited with it, and of course the quality that he did, no one in the world could do a Pascal Obispo production, better than him. It's physically impossible.
Yes.
Like, you want to do the album Thriller or Off the Wall, it's only Quincy Jones and Michael Jackson can know how to do it, So he, but also with what I know, with my foot actually in the venue, in the room where I saw it, the original French, and I know where it touches me, and I know what it means to me. And now my foot on Broadway in New York City, having Americans doing also comedy. So I know what they laugh, what they don't laugh. I know what they like. I know what they don't like. I know when it's boring for them. I know when it's cheap for them. I know all of this stuff. So I was able to kind of have both regards. When I go, I would say to American, and I don't mean this as an insult or as a critic, but I remember that there is like the French sensitivity of the authors of Pascal Obispo that I have to make sure not to forget, and the original interpreters. But I must say that it's been wonderful, and now all the biggest French musicals, I'm in talk with them to bring them now to New York.
Wow.
And because I have that platform in New York where I have plenty of theaters, but it's really, really exciting, and that's, I think, if that's my mission, to be that bridge, I'd be more than happy, and it's so amazing to bring the 10 Commandments in New York, and the press in France was absolutely amazing because they were kind enough to bring it up, and from Les Miserables, there was not really something of that size that traveled. So it's really a dream come true, Jean-Paul, but you'll be there to see it. I hope.
The more you talk about it, the more I have to be there. I just got to come.
Oh yeah, you're gonna love it.
But congratulations. Like, what such a short turnaround. And you did it during the pandemic. And like you said, it's hard to get, as a writer, it's hard to trust someone to take your stuff, but but you were there, you saw the original, and so they wouldn't understand your passion. And you, like you said, you have your feet in both countries, the French and the American. So you were able to, combine them two. And I totally understand, as a Canadian, it is a different mindset being in the States than being in France, than being in England, than being wherever. And it's hard to meld them together sometimes because they are so different. So what you've done is fantastic. And
thank you, Jean-Paul. But it's also the characters also, because it takes place in Egypt. I wanted voices also that can bring something ethnic. It can feel in Middle East. And as a matter of fact, I announced the production. And the first singles were released that I got offered for West End. I got offered for South Africa. I got offered for Australia. I got offered for Arizona. I got offers for what else? Dubai. I got offer for also a big venue in New York. I cannot say the names, but they want to do a version with symphonic orchestra,
Wow.
So just to tell you that there is definitely an audience for that, but they trust, the fact that in me I have this classical theater, because you definitely have some Shakespearean scenes that I'm going to bring out, that I have this operatic background that in terms of vocals, it's going to be very, very, very strong, that I have this Broadway background. So there's going to be all these Broadway belting and colors and projection and energy, but also I'm French,
Yeah.
I'm Jewish, I'm Moroccan. I grew up, with the Muslim world and all of that. So I want to bring, also this Arabic culture into it, and all of that, mixing it up to bring something that no one has ever seen before. And also the projection that people see, I cannot even tell you that even in the original, they didn't do, like, yesterday I was working on it, like he plants his baton and then the whole, like everything behind, like, for example, the wall, you will see the water, and then I plant the baton and the water turns red. Wow. Like with blood, or when the sea opens, you see the sea opening, or the pyramids behind. I mean, really some really amazing things. And also, this music is very rare for Broadway musical. Usually it's either very lyrical or it's only pop. Here we have kind of both. So they're going to see something, my beloved New Yorkers, that they haven't seen anywhere before, because this musical is, and big shout out again to the authors, Pascal Obispo, Lionel Florence, Patrice Guerrero, Eli Shuraki, who really, really trusted me, and I said to Eli, it would happen with or without your approval, because I really, when I decided something, there was nothing that could stop me, and the enjoyment that I see from all the cast members. We have phenomenal artists. We have Lisa Mond, we have Christine Vario, we have Aria Critchley, we have Stephanie Craven, we have Melissa Lubars, we have so many. I'm sorry. One Canadian. No. Zachary Harris Martin. Phenomenal tenor. I see him today. Actually, we're going to rehearse. We're going to work on his song. He is absolutely phenomenal, and really amazing artist. And we're doing all that vocal work to find that perfect, color that I want, and also that perfect the way they say the character, the way they say the lines. The acting also, I don't want the biblical acting that we can see. I want it also that it's also a love story, that it's story of two brothers, story of two mothers, story of just people who love each other. And sometimes at the end of the movie, at the end of the show, people feel like, what, we should love each other. Why are we hating each other? What have we learned from all these wars and all that stuff? And actually, I added a line specifically for that was going on, sadly, in Ukraine. So I added that line to connect to that particular moment, that even to this day, we haven't learned anything from it. So it's going to be phenomenal. You'll be there, but it's going to be phenomenal.
That is incredible. And so, when is it going up? How do people go see it? Because I know I want to go see it. I'm pretty sure lots of people who are listening will want to go see it. Give us the information and how and when and where and why.
Well, they should call you on your cell phone, first of all, so that they can go on the website, the 10 Commandments, the musical.com. So I just want to say about the 10 Commandments, the musical, that there was a musical in 2006 which took place in LA that is called the 10 Commandments, the musical. This musical has nothing to do with us. It's not the music of Pascal Obispo. It's not the original lyrics of Lionel Florence, Patrice Guerrero. It has nothing to do. But then there was a big mishmash between, people involved, and they decided to hire a composer to write a music about it. But sorry, that musical without the music of Pascal Obispo, Lionel France, Patrice Garraud is not, it's not. I'm respectful to what they did, of course, the decor, all of it, but I mean, I cannot watch 1 minute of it, So it has nothing to do. What you're gonna see, it has not been done before, So they can go on the website, the 10 Commandments, the musical.com. They can buy the tickets. It's only 5 performances in May. All right. 5 performances, and after maybe we'll play more. It would depend if people come, but I know for sure there are so many people interested that they really love the work that was done on it, with the singles and also the promotion. Mm-hmm. How I articulated it with the teaser, with the trailer, telling all that story. Is going to be phenomenal, but I can assure you there will not be a single dry eye in the audience, because we're bringing something completely new.
Congratulations. That's all I have to say. What you've done is incredible, and I look forward to hearing it more. As soon as there's a cast recording, it's going on the station. We know that, and
for sure,
we will support you any way we can, David.
Thank you,
because you're doing some great stuff out there. So
thank you, sweetheart. No, I am, and I'm here for you also. And when you come, I will mention you. I will mention you here, and you get to interview the whole cast if you want, and really, you would get everything exclusively, and maybe you get the audio of one of the live performance to put exclusively on musical theater radio. I'm just saying, well, okay. That's also possible.
We'll see. Let's talk. Again, David, congratulations. Thank you,
brother,
for coming on today. And everyone should go check out. I know it's a limited run, but if you're in New York, make sure you check it out. All right. So we were just speaking with David Serero here on Musical Theater Radio's Be Our Guest. Go to the 10 Commandments, themusical.com to learn more about the show. Get your tickets, limited run. And I'm definitely going to try and get down there. My name is Jean-Paul Jovanov. You are listening to Be Our Guest. Tune in next week as we'll see with another guest or guests about their life, love, and passion. That is musical theater. And until next time, my friends, I'll see you when I see you.
We love you. Thank you so much for your support.
And since we have for our prison a unique land whose only horizon is the desert, a desert. Since we suffer while standing here to survive only on our knees, on heavy dust. Since our love is unreachable today, and our new dream to be free. if just to be a man. Well, this is my maximum pain. If just to be a man. Well, this is my maximum
I choose to abandon this love that I carried, wanted deep down in me. Do we have a choice when our arms are cut off? You choose to abandon for love and with reason thousands of shattered hopes at the destiny's door, like a beautiful gift. See my hand reaching out, it's yours to take. This river was the only choice to make. When a reason is to leave my child, many reasons, it's your sacrifice. And if you have to live with it, even if you have to live for it, he will live. He will live. I choose to abandon with you all my last hopes that I still wish I had. And to see you away is torture to my soul.